So I feel like I have to reiterate a few points. The first point is I don't hate anybody. I'm a pretty open, pretty loving person, but I do honestly believe in tough love. Yes, I do love Christians, fundamentalist Christians included, even though I don't know if I'd consider them Christians sometimes because of the way they behave towards others. I also want to reiterate that Christians are pretty good people. Even the evangelists, even the born-agains. I'm familiar with many of them, and they're pretty awesome. So if you're watching this and you think I've included you somehow, and you're like, oh my god, what is she saying? Don't worry, I'm probably not talking about you, okay? So, and this is basically just a general announcement I needed to talk about anyway, because it's gotten to the point where a lot of people, a lot of pagans in my community and on YouTube have been hurt and upset and angered by some of the things our fundamentalist brethren had to say. I feel like I'd be going against everything I believe if I didn't say something about it. Because as an American, I do have the right to speak when I'm pissed off. And I am, in fact, pretty pissed off. Okay, moving on. I left off in the first video talking about pagan holidays and how the Romans during the spread of Christianity borrowed a lot of the Celtic and Germanic traditions and symbols like the Christmas tree, mistletoe, Easter eggs, the word Easter too, the date for Christmas, etc., etc. When you say things like pagan holidays are satanic, you're kind of actually making me laugh because you're actually using a lot of those traditions and customs and symbols in your own holidays, which, if you pay attention, have not a lot to do with Jesus Christ. So hating on pagans makes you look silly. Hating on anybody makes you look silly. But you seem to really love to hate on pagans and homosexuals and women who have abortions. Free-thinking women in general, sometimes, I'd like to think. Okay, and another thing I want to talk about pretty briefly. Let's go back to this whole idea of being Christ-like. And that includes not being hypocritical, not being hateful. And I'd like to break it to you, but a lot of the things that you say on our videos, or even to our faces through email, I wish I had them. I wish I had saved them to read to you guys, but I honestly think it would just take hours and hours. So when you say things like we're stupid, when you tell us to fuck off, when you email our fathers, who support us, by the way, when you email my father, our fathers, or our parents, or our husbands and wives, worried about our immortal souls and saying that your daughter, I don't know if you know this, but your daughter worships Satan and she's an awful, awful girl. Again, not your fucking business. Okay. So let's talk about Jesus. I hate to also break this to you, but Jesus Christ would probably be shaking his head if he saw some of the things that you do. I honestly don't think Jesus Christ really cares what we do. Okay, if you want to be a true Christian, you might try studying Buddhism. It'll teach you to be compassionate towards other people who are different from you. It'll teach you to treat others equally like you want to be treated. Okay? Because the way you treat other pagans, or just other people sometimes in general who are different from you, is not Christ-like by any means. Here's an example of what is Christ-like. Being charitable. Helping people even though you're insanely different. Sticking up for people. These are Christ-like qualities. Telling somebody to fuck off on their own turf, essentially. Telling people that they're wrong, horribly wrong, and that they should check out the following websites about Jesus to educate themselves is offensive in so many ways you have no idea. Okay? So if you're what we like to call fundamentalist Christian, you probably should check yourself, okay? Look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I really better than these people? Am I really better than the pagans I ultimately insult on YouTube? or even to their faces. See, when you hold up your signs and you're protesting and picketing in Salem, Massachusetts, when we're trying to celebrate Samhain, yes, you may have the constitutional right to protest, but you're also encroaching upon our rights to religious freedom when you do that. Though you may have the right to protest, look at what you're doing. Would you want the same thing done to you? You're being hypocritical when you do that. Worry about yourself. Don't worry about what we do. We're perfectly fine. In fact, we're great. We're happy. We chose to be pagan. We are pagan by choice. We do not want to be Christian. If we wanted to be Christian still, or be Christian again, we would. This is America. We have every right to be pagan. We have every right to be openly and publicly pagan. If you have a problem with it, well, I just can't say what I want to say on YouTube. But if you have a problem with it, you shouldn't have a problem with it. And that's all I'd like to say on the matter. Before you speak, before you tell me I'm going to hell, remember, what I do and what the rest of us pagans do is ultimately none of your concern. Worry about yourself. Try to learn to be Christ-like. I'm not afraid of going to hell because I'm pretty confident it doesn't exist. But if you're concerned about going to hell, you should try to be a better person. You should try to be a better Christian. Worry about yourself. Peace, love, and granola.